Welcome to the very last video for Chapter 2. In this video, we're going to look at the three more data types: the data type bool, the data type char, and the data type string. We will conclude this chapter by revisiting our etiquette for input and output. The bool data type is pretty simple. This data type allows you to store values that are either true or false. If you've taken a discrete class or math for computing, you understand that bools represent what we call propositions, right? So in the data type bool, the false is represented by a 0, true is represented by a 1. Now the moment I tell you this, you might say, whoa, bool is almost like a small integer. It's an integer that has only two values. It has a 0 value and a 1 value. If you think that way, you're totally correct. So technically speaking, the smallest integer is a bool. Now the character data type. A character variable is capable of holding exactly one character. What is a character? Well, think of a character as any key on the keyboard, for starters. So if you make one keystroke, that is one character. All right. Now there's something about characters that you maybe you haven't thought about before. But what happens when you hit the letter C is that the value 67 is associated with that keystroke. What if you type the letter capital A? There's a value associated with it. What do you think that value is? If C is 67, capital B must be 66, capital A must be 65. All right? So are you getting the feel that when I hit a keyboard character, I have a letter, the letter that corresponds to what's on the keyboard, but I kind of behind the scenes also have a number. So think about it for a moment. What's a character? It's the data type that can hold one keystroke, and associated with each keystroke is an integer, and it is a very small integer. I think the number of possible values for a character is on the order of 128 to maybe it's 255, but it's a small number. So that a character is in effect a small integer. But it's bigger than a bool because a bool is an even smaller integer because it's either 0 or 1. Let's talk about a string. A string, unlike a character, is a sequence of characters and not just one. A string constant is identified by seeing a double quote. The string value is everything that is between the first double quote and the second double quote. And if you want to draw a picture of a string, it looks like this. Here are the values in the string. Then there's a special funky looking character called the null character that comes after all the characters. And this simple null character, don't worry about it right now, it simply marks the end of the string. So if I took period, all right. Now let's do some talking here. What do we see here? What's the data type? It's a character because I start with a single quote. What is this? This is a string constant. Why is that? I start with a double quote, end with a double quote. What is this? Is this the character C or a string that contains the character C? It's a string that contains the character C. Last thing, is this a string? What is a string? A string value is indicated by an opening double quote, yes, and it contains all the characters from that are to the right of the opening double quote until you reach the closing double quote. How many such characters are there here? None. So the question is, can I have a string that has no characters in it? And the answer is yes. This string is a special string. It has a name. It is called the empty string or the null string, and that's totally valid. Let's go back up here and play a minute. Is this allowed? I know this kind of looks like a double quote, but it's not really a double quote. It's a single quote followed by a single quote. Is that valid? No, because we said when I do a single quote, you got to have something in here. You got to put one character between the quotes. You got to put one character every time. You cannot have no character inside of the single quote. You got to have exactly one character. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Now, let me show you a couple things. This is kind of off script a little bit. What character is this? Pay attention. Single quote, double quote, single quote. What character is this? What character is this? Well, we have just formed the double quote character. Here's the beginning of the character. Here's the end of the character. What's in between? A double quote. Good? Second thing, how can I represent a character which is itself a single quote? And the way that you do that is to put the backslash character followed by the single quote. And the combination of backslash single quote is allowed inside of single quotes. And what we have here is the character single quote. Okay? Try one more thing down here. If you remember this good, if not, don't sweat it right now. How can I say here's a string that contains a double quote? Can I do this? Well, let's look at it. A string begins with a double quote and ends with a double quote. If you do that, then the string is over right here, so that this is left outside. So how do we say here is the end, here's the beginning, and the character that we want is a double quote? And we do it the same way we did it up here. We're saying that we want to make a double quote a character within the string. This backslash has a name. It's called backslash followed by a character. It's called an escape sequence. And it simply means don't treat the character in its normal way. Normally a single quote will terminate a character. In this case it says no, 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 don't use it to terminate, use it as the content. Normally the double quote will end the string. If you have a backslash in front of it, you're saying, no, no, don't use it as a delimiter, use it instead as the character, W quote, double quote. Let's talk about strings. The last data type is a string. We've seen this before. Gotta fix that. And the name of our class is Fundamentals of Programming. We can assign a value to a string just like we can assign a value to an integer. We can read values with cin. We can display values with cout. Now we're going to finish talking now about the how to prompt for input. Remember we said the etiquette was if you're going to read input, ask for it first in a very clear way, then read it. So what do we have? If I want to read a name, I'll declare a variable called name. I will ask for the name. Notice a couple things. I'm skipping a line then I'm asking for it. So the request for the name will appear on a line all by itself. Notice also that my prompt is given directions. Enter name. After I complete the request, I put a colon, which suggests that the user should type the value right after the colon. After the colon, I'm going to put one space so that when the user goes to type, he will see on the screen, enter name, colon, space, and he can type or she can type the input. So after the prompt, we read. So what are the notes? Start the prompt on a new line here. Do not skip a line after the prompt. I issue the prompt so that they can enter the data on the same line as the prompt. Okay? And in the prompt itself, I put a space after the colon so that the prompt and the value the person enters don't mesh together. So this is the pattern you will see. Labeling output. If I have a variable called float, average, okay? If I want to output the average, the rule says don't just print out average, put a label on it. Make the name of the label descriptive so it's really clear what you're looking at. End the label with the space right here so that when it's displayed, the label and the value don't merge together. Okay, here's where it's a little tricky now. Start the label on a new line if the assignment does not prohibit. Sometimes you have to print your output, a particular output item on a brand new line. Other times you may print it on the same line as other things. So do not automatically say I need to print it on a new line. After you print it, there are cases where you should not skip it. Skip it only if the assignment does not prohibit it. There are sometimes you may have an output line that says sum equals 5, and on the same line you're going to say number of students equals 17. On the same line you will say average score equals 49.5. So there are some assignments where you must put multiple outputs on one line. All right. Okay, with that we have concluded Chapter 2